around in my car.
I wanna be a singer and a rock and roll star.
I wanna be a doctor, that'd be cool.
I wanna be on TV like Steve Poole.
When I grow up, I wanna have some fun, work real hard and get my job done. Take a look around the world and see just what I wanna be. I wanna be an engineer and drive a train.
I wanna be a scientist and use my brain.
I wanna drive a truck on the open road, wheels rolling to deliver my load.
I wanna be a farmer and milk a cow, grow some crops and ride my plow.
I wanna play baseball 'cause I love to pitch.
I just know I wanna be rich.
When I grow up, I wanna have some fun, work real hard and get my job done. Take a look around the world and see just what I wanna be. I wanna drive a cat and work in the dirt.
I wanna be a nurse and help folks that are hurt.
I wanna be a pilot high in the sky in a jet plane I'm gonna fly. I wanna be an astronaut and fly to Mars.
I wanna be an astronomer and study the stars.
I wanna fix cars when they get a dent.
Heck, I wanna be the president.
When I grow up, I wanna have some fun, work real hard and get my job done. Take a look around the world and see just what I wanna be. When I grow up, I wanna have some fun, work real hard and get my job done. Take a look around the world and see just what I wanna be. Just what I wanna be.
Hi there, I'm Steve Poole. Can you see this? This is a leopard gecko. Isn't that an interesting animal? If you've ever dreamed of working with animals when you grow up, you've come to the right place, because these kids are interested in the same thing. Say hi, kids.
Hi!
All right, let's get started. If you're interested in working with animals, the first thing you have to do is watch this. It seems that everybody likes animals. They can be majestic and kind of scary, cute and playful, and even funny sometimes. But all animals, and especially wild ones, are complex and often unpredictable. They are, like us, an important part of our environment, and often it's up to us to protect them. That's why a lot of people like to work with animals. But it's not like playing with the family pet. No, it demands skill, training, and knowing all about the animal. Just ask C.J. Casson. He works with marine mammals.
A lot of it's just intuition. With a sea otter, by the time you see that it's sick, it's usually pretty late. So you just try to watch him every day and look at little signs. Bajo especially, you know, he's a curious, somewhat aggressive animal, and you learn his like you would learn your kid's personality. You look at their eyes, and if their eyes aren't clear and they're not kind of, you know, that perky little guy that you'd see at home, then you know something's wrong, and then you try to figure out what.
Elephants are obviously much bigger than sea otters, but the same things apply. It's challenging work because animals are smart, and they even play games. Like when I first met these elephants, and they decided to have some fun with me.
This is C, and this is Bamboo. And C's the one that plays all the games. But when you bring out the treats, all those games end.
Hey!
And Bamboo is the
I think I got
real clever one.
Hey, stop that!
We all need a shower.
You know, I'm getting an elephant shower here.
Thank goodness, zookeeper Russ Roach was there to call off his playful friends.
The biggest challenge that we have working with them is they're very smart, and if they get bored, they'll play games. And they're very good at playing games. If you want them to do a specific thing that they do every day and they know how to do it, well, one day they'll decide to have some fun and not do it right or not do it at all. And that's where the games begin. And with some of the elephants, the games can end very quickly. If you bring out more treats so they know what they're working for, then all the games end.
From elephants to otters and everything in between, there are thousands of animals in the world today. If you want to work with animals, then pay close attention and you'll find out what CJ and Russ spent a lot of years learning.
Do you have to go to school to work with animals?
Most people who work with animals do take very special classes in school, and they also had to be very determined to achieve their goal.
I was just getting tired of school, so I came back, and it was the week the aquarium opened. So I came down here and I thought, well, this is pretty interesting, and I thought, it's a natural for me because I know the creatures quite a bit, and I've seen them all my life. And so I went to the School of Fisheries, and the next thing you know, I started volunteering here, and which is an excellent way to get into the industry, is volunteering. And actually, the day I graduated, I got a job. It worked out perfect for me.
Janice Jocelyn is a senior veterinarian. She had to go to school for years and be trained as much as any other doctor.
Well, when I was in vet school, I learned how to work with dogs and cats and cows and horses, and essentially an elephant is a horse, if you look at the physiology and how the body works, and ostrich is a chicken, and you just relate that medicine that you learned, the basic medicine, to the exotic animal medicine. Now, I didn't learn much about snakes, and I didn't learn much about primates, because primates are really related to humans. So I had to get additional training after I got out of vet school, and I worked at the Primate Center at Davis, California, and did a residency there. And then I went on and did some training at other zoos, and then I ultimately got this job here.
In school, you need to take all your tough classes, the biology and the math and the physics, all the classes that everybody hates. But as you know, as you get into it, it's like a puzzle too, and it becomes more interesting. So it's just a combo of experience and the education. And never give up, never let anybody tell you there's just no jobs, because there aren't a lot of jobs, but I got one.
Judy Steenberg works with tree kangaroos from New Guinea. She got interested in animals at a young age.
This is a marsupial, just like other kangaroos. They think that a long time ago, kangaroos developed from possums. Well, it's kind of funny. It kind of started at my uncle's farm. When I was a youngster, I went out there every summer for a week or two, and then as I got older, I got to work on the farm and help him with his animals. And I have always liked animals. I like being around animals, and it's just something that I never really thought of being a zookeeper, but as I got older, I started thinking, what things do I like doing? And actually, I get along with them pretty well. And that's important too. So I just kind of grew into it. It was kind of an accident. I went to a lecture one day about zoos and decided, I think I want to do that.
Judy also says it really helps to have a college education.
You learn a lot in college, and there's so much competition for zookeeping jobs right now that helps you a whole lot. You should get a biology degree or zoology, something in the animal sciences area. But one of the things I'd like all children to understand is that communication is the most important part of this job. If I have a sick animal and I need to talk to the vet, I've got to be able to communicate either in writing or talking to them. Getting along with people is so important because, in a way, the zookeeper is the voice of the animal. They can't talk for themselves.
Judy also keeps extensive records on her animals in order to learn about their behavior. That way, other zookeepers can benefit from her research. That means spending a lot of time working with a computer.
This is a much better way to keep track of animals than just with pencil and paper. So you need to learn how to use computers. That's going to have to be something that is part of zookeepers' jobs in the future.
What do they eat?
That's a good question, Ariana. I'm pretty sure it's not human food, at least not in the form that we're used to seeing, but let's check it out. The short answer is a lot, especially the big guys.
They eat about 50 to 60 pounds of Timothy hay every day, and then they're also getting about 15, 20 pounds of carrots and about 10 or 12 pounds of grain. But what they really like are big, fleshy, fruity things. To watch an elephant eat watermelon is a real treat. They get that thing up into their, and then they jam it into their mouth, and the juices are going all the way down, and it's a real mess, and they really love it.
Now, the otters, as you might guess, love seafood, and they not only eat it, they have fun with it.
The sea otter is the only marine mammal that actually uses tools, and if we give them two, say if we give Etika here 2 clams, maybe she'll go out and demonstrate the fine art of tool-using behaviors. They'll actually pick up a rock or maybe a chainsaw or something and break their food open, and maybe she'll, there she goes. Nope. There we go. So you can see they're pretty efficient at breaking their food open. If there was say a big scallop attached to a rock wall underwater somewhere, they'd be diving along, they'd find another rock to smash it off the wall. We'll feed them 5 times a day, and each otter eats 25% of its body weight per day. So the Bajo, the male, he's actually consuming 22 pounds of meat in a day right now. Costs anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a year to feed one otter.
Judy's tree kangaroos, not surprisingly, love to eat plants.
But they don't give the animals a lot to do. It'd be kind of like feeding them cereal all the time. This is called browse. Now, in the wild, this tree kangaroo would be eating leaves and buds and flowers and sometimes maybe even a few insects. And what I've given him is elm leaves, and he loves them, as you can see. And that's a very natural diet for him. He needs a lot of bulk, a lot of fiber in his diet. And so we give him these leaves. It also gives him something to do. He'll take 10, 15 minutes to eat through these leaves, where if I give him his little biscuits, 10 minutes, few minutes they're gone. Very, very quickly they're gone.
Yes, there is a lot of thought that goes into the diet for animals.
We try to come up with a diet that's similar in composition to what they'd eat in the wild. But they're just like kids in a candy store, and if you gave them all fruits, they'd go through and pick out all the yummies. So we have to carefully balance the diet so they get good, wholesome food in addition to the treats.
So as you can see, what and how much an animal eats depends on what kind of animal you're talking about.
What's it like to train an animal?
Most wild animals in zoos and aquariums are not trained to do tricks, like in a circus. These animals are trained because it helps keepers to take care of them. Take the 2 seals I met named Doc and Barney.
So one of the things I get him to do is jump out of the water, and I'll do that now. So there's a white thing up there. He's going to jump up to that white thing. Well, let's get this guy to... Here he goes. Okay, now he's going to jump up there. There he goes. And that's how we get all the cameras real wet. So we're going to try that one more time. Okay, Doc, give us the jump. There he goes. So again, that's to get him all pumped up and ready to go. And now if I had to take blood from him, it'd be a lot easier and a lot less stressful.
Like the seals, the elephants also have to be trained to do various things. And as the trainer, you really have to think about what you're doing.
For instance, to pick up a stick or to hold something in its trunk, how do you get it to do that? Well, if you teach it to pick something up off the ground initially, and then to pick up something that it might not necessarily want to pick up. So if you toss a carrot on the ground, it wants to pick up that carrot. And then you toss a stick on the ground, and it picks up that stick, and then you feed it the carrots, and then you teach it to actually pick up a stick that's not on the ground and to hold it while you're feeding those carrots or whatever treat the elephant really likes. And the challenge comes in, what if it doesn't get that idea? Then you have to think of another way of teaching it.
Why, Doc and Barney are even trained to get their teeth brushed. It's pretty funny.
You can see that he's starting to kind of smack his lips when he sees this coming, and he's starting to drool because he knows what's going to follow. He tolerates this, but it doesn't mean he likes it. So what we do here is, this is an electric, it's a sonic hair toothbrush, and it kind of vibrates back and forth. Steve, don't you use one of these? And Steve's teeth are very white, but not quite as white as Doc's. And so I turn it on, and he opens up. No, stop biting. Relax, relax. And I just rub it up and down, kind of stimulate his gums. Doc, target. You get the bottom a little bit. Okay, one more time on the top. Let's target open.
In many ways, wild animals are like us in that they have a daily routine and they need plenty of rest.
Actually, they sleep laying down most of the time, and they might get up around 4 o'clock in the morning and stand and eat a little bit and wait and wait and wait and wait until we get here in the morning. And then they go out in the yard and play with each other, and we bring them in to the barn for their morning bath.
And oh, what a bath it is. In order to stand still for this, the elephants do have to be trained. But the activity also helps to stimulate their minds as well as their bodies.
We take care of them, so they have to cooperate with us so that we can take care of them. They're also really intelligent. They're very smart. And if we were to spend all our life in a bathroom, you would get the idea of how boring that could be. And so by training them, we give them the mental stimulation. And to work with them, they get mental stimulation. And that's really important to alleviate boredom. And that's the growing trend in taking care of zoo animals, is enriching their environment and their behavior by allowing them to solve problems.
What happens when animals get sick?
Sometimes sick animals can end up here in the animal hospital run by Janice Jocelyn. Janice works with other specially trained veterinarians doing just about everything, including surgery. Here, they're working on an animal called a civet. It has a leg injury that could really get infected.
We treat all the animals here at the zoo, take care of their medical care, and plus we do the mammals, birds, and reptiles, and some of the fish at the aquarium. So our range goes from anything from tarantula to snake to birds up to the elephants.
Like people, the animals are not really too happy about having to go through this, but the vets are always working on new and better ways to provide treatment.
We have a lot of medicines that are human products that are fruit flavored, and so the animals will take treats like that from the keepers that they wouldn't take from us. The elephants, we can melt chocolate bars down, put the medication in the chocolate bar, have it set up, and give them the chocolate bar whole, and they'll take the medication. So I have to come up with little regimes like that to get the medication to them and get them better. They'll be more comfortable there than they will here in the hospital.
But unless it's obvious, how can you even tell if an animal is sick or hurt? After all, it can't talk to you. Well, as it turns out, if you really know the animal, it's amazing how much they can tell you.
What's really important is being able to tell when an animal is sick. Just because it's standing by itself doesn't necessarily mean it's sick. It might just be a natural loner. It tends to be by itself all the time. But to be able to tell the body position of the animal, that it's not eating properly, it's not walking like it normally does, it doesn't have that nice normal spring to its step, those are really important to be able to tell that an animal is sick, so the veterinarian can come in and make a proper diagnosis.
It's like a big puzzle, I guess. That's what's so fun about it. If something's going wrong, you have to figure out why. and you almost have to get inside the animal and think about what's going on from its perspective. Why is it nervous? What's bothering it today? And try and solve those problems. Keep them as happy and as healthy as possible.
Unfortunately, sometimes an animal dies, and that can be very emotional.
When you lose an animal, you have to learn from it and then make it better for the others. And every time something goes wrong or an animal dies or gets sick, we do learn something, and we take that information and we move on to the next step, and we use it to make life better in the future.
Is it dangerous?
Working with wild animals, you always have to remember that they are not house pets. They can be unpredictable.
Sure, just because we work with the elephants here doesn't mean that they're not dangerous. This is still a wild animal. It just happens to be an 8,000-pound wild animal. And it's still a wild animal, so it can be wild anytime it wants to. And so one of the hardest things to learn in taking care of animals is common sense. And so to be able to understand that this animal might be aggressive and it's acting a little bit aggressive, or that I'm way over here and my backup person is way over there, and so that we're at a distance where we're not safe for each other anymore.
And you also have to watch out, because even if the animal knows you, he might still decide to bite you.
Well, I try not to let them bite me, but I haven't bitten. I've been footed by an eagle. You know, eagles have those very large claws, and I managed to get one caught right here. What you try to do is remain calm, which is hard when it's hurting you, and then get someone to help you release, pull the foot off, because if you yank your hand out, of course, it's going to hurt more.
Ouch. Ouch. Big time ouch. And it didn't hurt at first, 'cause I just sat there and I didn't want to do anything, because if I pull away, then it has my finger forever, and it's not going to give it back. So I sat there and I tried to tweak its nose. It didn't want to let go. And once they got you, it's with a lot of animals. My advice is, if you get bit by one of these otters today, don't pull away, because it'll keep your hand. And, you look pretty funny on television without a hand.
Boy, that's for sure. But the danger of working with animals is actually quite small. Mainly what you get out of it is a lot of satisfaction, knowing that you can help a species that might be endangered.
Being this close to them, goofing off with them and watching them goof off and be silly, that's really exciting. Taking a trunk shower with the elephants like you just did, any of those, it's immensely rewarding when things go right, too. And it's very frustrating when things go wrong. And that's part of the job.
The thing I like about this job is that it's never routine, that we come up with new problems just about every day, that I may be working with a civet one day and with an elephant the next. We have some calves in here that we're raising, getting on a bottle for the family farm. And I had monkeys that were in here yesterday that we were doing exams and moving them to a new place. It's that unusual each day that comes up that I really enjoy.
I guess the part that I enjoy is that taking care of them every day. It's nice being able to get close to them. But it's kind of nice to think that I'm going to make a difference, that something's going to be better because of the work I'm doing today. And I've been a zookeeper for about 20 years, and I've worked with tree kangaroos for about 12 years. And from the time I started to now, they're much healthier, they live longer in captivity, they reproduce better, and I've been a part of that, and that's exciting.
Ooh. Hey, I hope you've learned something, and thanks for joining us. Remember now, never go near an animal that you're unsure of without your parents or a trusted adult. Safety first. But also remember, you can be anything you want to be. So long!